So is Project TL the next big MMORPG? Let's take a few minutes and talk about that. So last week I did a video about Lost Ark and how we're probably not going to see the game this year. We're probably not going to see the game next year. And honestly, that upset a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, your anger is warranted. You are completely justified in being upset. We've all been waiting on the game for years now. And despite Smilegate stating a while back that they planned on one day releasing in the West, we have thus far gotten nothing. I mean, sure, no problem. They're a South Korean developer. They have absolutely no obligation whatsoever to us, nor are they supposed to simply acquiesce to our requests to have an English localized version of the game. But one common response I saw in the video was, that's fine. I'll be waiting on Project TL, which looks a lot better and will release sooner anyway. So here I am doing another video on Project TL. No, this is not clickbait. I'm not here to attempt to bait you into watching this. I am merely here to discuss Project TL, the game's future, and whether or not it's going to get a Western release, or whether or not I believe it's going to get a Western release, since there are still none confirmed at this point. So before we go any further, what exactly is Project TL? Project TL was announced years ago, roughly at around the same time as Lost Ark, I think. They were competitors, I guess, with people taking sides like they do with Xbox and PlayStation consoles. But back then it was called Lineage Eternal. I mean, honestly, how many of you guys even remember that? Either way, people weren't really all that happy with how Lineage Eternal was turning out. Thus, NCSoft decided to stop development and completely overhaul the entirety of the game while undergoing a rebrand. This in turn set them back quite a bit and resulted in silence from the developer for years, until the end of December 2019. Lineage Eternal was built with the ability to not only field, but also control several characters simultaneously. You would go about the game, slowly recruiting various different characters that you could customize however you pleased. It was still a pure MMO, but it would have taken the game in a very interesting, I don't know, kind of a different direction. Project TL, though, is much more traditional, much more like Lost Ark. It's an open world MMO that provides a single character in honestly pretty sick looking action combat, but from an isometric point of view. The game looks and it honestly plays a lot like Lost Ark. It always has. That is why people often consider them as direct competition for one another. Now, last year I did a video on Project TL, or more so, my most recent Project TL video was done back in December 2019. In it, I went on and elaborated on an announcement that NCSoft made pertaining to the game's release. See, last year, NCSoft was required to supply investors with their quarterly financials, like every year, and like every developer does. However, during their third quarter financials, they revealed that Project TL is still in active development. But not only that, they actually have a scheduled South Korean closed beta release date for 2020. Specifically, the first half of 2020. Whether that means that the game will launch this year within the region is up for discussion, but considering it is one of NCSoft's potential biggest hits, they would be seriously beyond crazy to continue to delay this, especially given how Lost Ark is turning out right now and considering that it's losing so many players daily. Now, there were a couple different reasons that I wanted to make this video. On the one hand, we have people that are under the impression that the game is going to be launching this year in 2020. That is both correct and incorrect depending on how you look at this. See, the game is going to be launching in 2020 within South Korea, the South Korean region only, not outside of South Korea. See, the game is not even finished yet. It is not in a complete form. Whenever it is finally finished and whenever it does finally release in South Korea sometime this year, the North American release, the European release, the entire Western market as a whole is going to be a mere afterthought. So I'm not saying that, the game is going to take 5 years or 10 years before we get it. I'm merely saying that we should, I don't know, kind of temper our expectations with regards to the release, especially considering how long Lost Ark has been delayed. Then there's the public thought that Project TL is vastly superior to Lost Ark. That just is not true. I am a fan. I have always been a fan of Project TL over Lost Ark, but even I know that we don't have definitive gameplay or endgame content yet. Thus, we don't have nearly enough to gauge whether or not the game will compete with, surpass, or heck, maybe even fall short of Lost Ark. But that is pretty much the purpose today. I wanted to let you all know that Project TL is coming this year. It is. And it will likely have some form of English fan translation available shortly after it releases. But since it is a South Korean MMO, it'll also have IP blocks in place requiring a VPN to play. Honestly, I am going to play Project Tia when it comes out, and since it's going to require a VPN, I will of course be using exit lag. I advertise exit lag everywhere because it honestly works. I have a link for it down in the description, the pinned comment below, if you want to try out, if you want to get like a few day free trial so you can get a kind of like a gauge of if it works for you before you spend any money on it. The game, it is going to be a pure action MMO, but we just can't compare it to currently released games until we have a more finalized version of the game to actually compare. And finally, no, the game will not be launching anytime soon in the West. Just no, it really will not be, just like Lost Ark won't be. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that is just my opinion, my impressions of the upcoming MMORPG and its launch later on in the year. What do you guys think though? Let me know down in the comments below and let's talk about it. Anyway guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time.
Someday soon I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh, everyone who didn't believe